and welcome back to another episode of Grit and Grace Leadership Talks with myself, Kate Taylor. I have decided that this week I'm going to do one on my own every other week so that you can learn something that I'm learning as well as hearing from our amazing guest speakers. So this week I wanted to share with you about some things I've learned recently and reflected on in my business. I have been running Taylor Care Recruitment now for 10 years, and I have learned a lot of life and business lessons, as you can imagine. A decade of business and a pandemic mixed in there for probably 2.5 years of that. So it has been a bit of a roller coaster, I would say. Sometimes a bit of a circus and sometimes a bit of a party with celebrating wins, etc. So I wanted to share with you about why I believe mindset matters and why you need grit in leadership, and talk a little bit more about that side of things. So I've spoken about the grace side of leadership, but today I'm going to be focusing on the grit and share with you some stories from my journey as a business owner. I'm going to get raw and real with you. I hope it encourages you, inspires you for someone that may be starting out in business or leadership or is having challenges in the valleys of business at this present moment. Maybe what I share with you today might help you. I encourage you to, take some notes or, just think of the things that I'm sharing with you and see if it may resonate with you today. So why does mindset matter? Having an entrepreneur mindset can help you succeed in leadership, business, and in life too. Your mindset matters to help you take ownership and take creative action around what you need to do and have resilience. These are all values that will help you reach your goals. And then we come into the grit in leadership and why we need it. Having grit is about having the ability to stay motivated and focused on your goals even when you encounter setbacks. You are also more likely to bounce back from failure and keep going. Now, that is something I have learned personally for many times now in business. And I started reflecting on this. I was like, where is it that I've had grit in my career, in my business, and what has it taught me? And I wanted to share with you one key moment for me. In 2018, I had come to a bit of a crossroads. It was December, and usually in my business, that is the quieter time. After Christmas, it kind of goes quiet for the January period. And I had a pipeline of business. I had about $100,000 worth of business that I was relying on to come in. And for different reasons, it all fell through. So like job seekers just pulled out of job offers, clients pulled out of a candidate offer. It was like a number of things. A few of my staff that I had at the time weren't managing the process very well. And it meant that we fell and we lost $100,000 worth of business going into Christmas in 2018. So you can imagine I was pretty heartbroken after all the hard work, all the blood, sweat and tears in my business. I got to a point in January when my husband, who does my accounts and bookkeeping, came to me and said, look, you have 2 months left of funds in the bank to fund your business. And after that, I don't know what we're going to do. We may have to shut down if you cannot turn this around. And I was just devastated, as anyone knows who's been hustling and working their way up in business, to get to 5 years in and still be at that place where you're like, I don't know what's going to happen. Am I going to be able to keep running? Can I pay my staff? Can I pay my salaries? And this was a reality for me in 2018. And it's probably over the 10 years happened 3 times in my business where I've been at that kind of crossroads where I'm like, what do I do? And so I had the choice. I could bury my head in the sand. I could, get depressed. I could just, flounder and not do a whole lot. Or I could dig deep and get that grit that I need for that resilience and fight for my business and fight for what I wanted. So that is exactly what I had to do. I also invested into a well-being, leadership mindset day at that time with a lady called Kat Miller. I may even get her on the podcast. And she helped me just take a day out. When trouble hits in business, it's very easy to have that grit and just go, go, go. And sometimes you do not see clearly what you need to do when you're just in the trenches, fighting your battles to get that grit to keep going. And sometimes taking a day out or taking some rest can really help you reset, rethink, and decide what I'm going to do next. And that is exactly what I did. I went to Kat Miller's one-day event, and it was such an amazing day for me around leadership and business and personal development. And there was a speaker there called Ray Mardia. Now, she is one of the first guests on my series of Grit and Grace talks. You can listen back to her, Ray Mardia, and the chat I had with her and to how we work together. But she is someone that got up and spoke, and she just brought this calmness and this, just this peace and this kind of confidence that I needed at that time in my business. And so I decided to reach out to her after her talk and say to her, look, I really got a lot out of your talk. Could we potentially have a chat and kind of work together? And she said, look, I'm willing to give you some free sessions with me because you came to this event today. And at that point where I had no money, my husband was like, you cannot be investing money into training or coaching right now. We do not have the money for this. And I was like, oh, man, I really need this lady's help. And when you just feel like someone's come into your path for just the right reason, exactly when you needed it. Well, that was me at that moment with Ray. And what I did was she kindly gave some of her time to me. And she said, look, I'm going to give you 6 free sessions. And after that, if I cannot help you turn your business around, then look, that's fine. But if I do, then you can start bringing me on as a coach and pay me. So I thought, okay, let's look at this. I said to my husband, I've got nothing to lose at this point. My business is in crisis point, and I either have to dig deep and make this work and work with someone, or I just try it on my own and flounder. So I worked with her fortnightly for 3 months. She worked with me 6 sessions, as she promised, for free. She was such an amazing woman to do that for me, and a leader and someone who's been an amazing leadership coach to me over the years and to many of my friends in leadership and business too. And in that time, I got to reflect, look at my, limiting beliefs that I had of myself and in business, look at my mindset, what was happening there, look at my boundaries. I had no boundaries. I just would work with every client and not really and I'd let staff get away with all sorts of things because I just was this nice boss that wanted to, or this nice person that wanted to get along with everyone. And so I realized I needed that, and I needed some leadership guidance and coaching because, I started my business at 28 years old. I was a top performer at another company, but I had no management or leadership experience. So I had to really learn as I go. And I was like, far out, like I need some help here to get this right, to turn my business around. And sure enough, in that time, I'm someone that believes in that grit and determination like never before when you hit rough patches. But I also believe in taking action. I'm a big action taker. So, when someone is going through trauma or stress, they'll go fight, flight, or freeze response. And for me, I'm a fighter. Like you have never seen me with grit and fight until I'm in a crisis. It's so strange because some people I know just freeze and can't do anything and become like paralyzed. But for me, I'm like, nah, let's get this, let's turn this ship around. Let's do what we got to do. Let's work harder than ever before. Let's get the grit in there that we need. And so that's what I did. I worked really, really hard, put into place a lot of different things and systems and processes and accountability with having Ray as my coach. And this helped me turn my business around. So I started with her in the January. So you can imagine by April, I had my biggest month in sales in recruitment in my whole career. I still to this day have not done that much in 1 month ever since. So I made, it was like over $102,000 I made in sales in 1 month. Now, usually our team does that over a few months. So for me to do that on my own. So for me to do that was like, and I only had 1 staff member. So my overheads were very low. And so we were able to kind of pick up our revenue again and bring up the money we needed to keep going. And then by the June, I won 2 industry awards, the RCSA Industry Awards. That was the Rising Star Award for Emerging Recruitment Leader, which I'm so proud of. And we also won an award for Corporate Social Responsibility. And that is an award that we'd been going for every year for 4 years prior. So we were a finalist for 4 years and never won. And because we have such a big heart and passion for giving back to charity through our business. And I was determined to showcase to the recruitment industry that doesn't matter how small your business is or how new you are in the marketplace, you can give back and make a difference with your sphere of influence. And so I was so proud to do that. I was so proud to be in a position that I could not just turn my business around and make that money that I needed to get out of the hole that we were in, but then to actually win those awards that I'd been striving for years. Honestly, it was like being on cloud nine. I just remember I had a staff member at the time, Lumi, and we flew into Melbourne for these awards, and we didn't even think we would win. Like, I was like, oh, look, we've been to lots of these awards. It's highly unlikely we're going to win, but let's just go and have fun and celebrate because we've been working bloody hard lately. And so that's what we did. And we did not expect to be the winner of not just one, but 2 awards. And since then, we've won 5 business awards and been a finalist for about 16. So I am so proud of that and what we've achieved. And that recognition, I guess, gave me the boost that I needed to keep going in business and to not give up when it got hard. And that was an example of where I've had to have grit. I've also had shared stories around COVID and our business going quiet for 3 months and how I've had to turn that around and look for opportunities and pivot in the market and things like that. But yeah, I just remember that moment in my career and my business that was really critical for me. And the last few years, again, has been a challenge, that grit. Doesn't matter what's going on in your personal world. When you run a business, you have to have grit to face whatever challenges you're having in business while your whole world around you can be collapsing. So, I really encourage you to challenge yourself in those moments when you're feeling stretched and feeling like you're worn thin and run down and wondering, how the hell am I going to get through this? And trust me, I'm living proof that you can go through the valleys in business and claw your way back out one step at a time. It's never easy. I know a lot of people share their highlight reels and success in business, and they often don't share these tough stories and these moments in their careers and their business where they go, why am I doing this? And, I've had to really dig deep and process a lot of that all through COVID. Like, why am I running a business in COVID where I can't even be with my team and having to shut down everything at short notice, and just really relying on my networks and business connections to help bring in new business for us to keep us afloat. Like, I've never worked so hard than I have in the last few years. And I'm just so proud that we've got to 10 years in business in March. It was in 2023, March. We were able to achieve something that I only dreamed of when I started Taylor Care, was to get to that 10 years of business. And so, I encourage you to not give up when the going gets tough, and just take action and take the steps you need to. And remember that grit that you're developing, that resilience you're developing in these times. I realized, though, that I could not be the best version of myself without a coach to guide me. If my mindset is not clear, then how can my staff have clarity as to what I'm doing and where we're going as a business? Think of it like an Olympic athlete. Do you know, if you were an Olympic athlete, you would have probably 3 or 4 personal trainers, coaches, nutritionists, everything thrown at you to help you succeed. And it's the same in business. Like, honestly, I feel like running a business is a marathon. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon race. And so that is why it's so important to have people that are on your cheer squad. I mean, sure enough, you'd like to have your staff in your cheer squad, but it's really important to have people that back you, that are kind of like, you can go to them in the depths of despair and they're going to stand with you and help you through as much as they're going to be with you when you celebrate the wins. I was so proud that, Ray has worked with me on and off since 2018 now. And she walked that valley with me in 2018, but she also walked valleys with me in COVID. Unfortunately, I went through multiple miscarriages all through COVID while running my business. And, there were moments where I didn't know how I was going to get through. I had to literally book in a session with her after each miscarriage. And I literally had to ask her to help me. I was like, help me keep my business focus. And then I had to have sessions with my psychologist to help me process all the emotions and grief and loss. And so she has someone that I treasure deeply, because she has walked that road with me in the highs and lows, and she still continues to support me and check in on me in business. And that is what you need in a coach, and someone that looks out for you. There's someone that can just give you a piece of your puzzle to get back on top again. And so, I've probably invested thousands of dollars each year in my professional development and coaching, and I've never regretted it. Like I recently went to Gary V, a day workshop where mindset matters, and we heard some amazing speakers, and we learned all about that as well. And it really helped me just recheck in with myself and reset and really think about what matters. And something I'm trying to get more of in my life this year is around balance. I want to have that balance with my work where I can work intensely and rest deeply and have quality time with my daughter and my husband and my family, so that I can really look after my health and well-being as well as my business. So I've been looking at all the support I need in place for that to happen, and I've been working on that really closely at the moment with my psychologists and coaches, etc. I really want to encourage you to not hold back, even if you can't afford a coach. Looking at what courses you can do, like one-day events. I love Aaron Sansoni. He's been a brilliant business guy that I've followed, and he has a lot of one-day events like entrepreneur summits, Empire Mastery. They've got Sales Mastery. They've got Leadership Mastery, all these different events that he does. And for me, I found those boot camps to be really valuable for me. Again, it was probably 2019, or I was kind of feeling a little stuck, and I was like, what can I do? And then I put my name down on this Facebook. You fill in a form and it's like inquire about an event, and I won a free ticket to this sales mastery training with Aaron Sansoni, and it was worth like $3,000 or $4,000. And I was like, I just feel like God or the universe just brings to me the right people and the right training, even when I can't afford it, and finds a way for me to get to these things. And that is where I usually come up with my brilliant ideas or next steps that I need to take. And that's what I did when I did that 3-day boot camp, with Aaron Sansoni. So I highly recommend checking him out as well. And then there's also been some other coaches that I've also interviewed on this podcast. You've got Sheena, who's a great coach. You've got Helen Gray. So, just check them out and see if they're people that you might align with for your business and, your next steps. And I just want to encourage you on your leadership journey. As I said, we are not trying to be a tech startup that flips our business in 3 years. So slow and steady wins the race. You don't have to go at such a high pace. And I think that's something that I've learned in the recent year or so, is that, wisdom moves at a slower pace. So if you're seeking wisdom, you need to slow down and take some time out to rest, recharge, or invest in some training or development. My slowdown is going to professional development day. So for me, if I'm going to slow down, I've got a friend who I go with to all these events. And I said, this is where I come up with my great ideas or light bulb moments, is when I slow down for a day. And it's not really slowing down because I'm still learning and listening, but I get my next idea or next move that I need to make when I actually just take a day out of my normal routine. So I encourage you, even if it's not an event coming up, just maybe book a few hours in, or a half day ideally. Go down to your local cafe or beach or somewhere where you feel like you can be most creative, and sit and do some work on your business and on yourself. Look at what gaps you have and what you need help with, and map that out and how you're going to execute that over the next few months. I'm also thinking as well, this is something that I heard at an event recently. They said, look at how you can slow down in your life so you don't crowd out the genius in our lives. So as I said, I get the most benefit and light bulb moments when I go to those training events. So I want you to just not crowd out the genius that's going to be inside you, those pearls of wisdom, that insight, that as that entrepreneur, that innovator, like, you've got to make time for that to come out so you can succeed in business. And I've got a few questions for you I want you to write down and think about. Are you honestly giving your business your best self right now? I'll mention it again. Are you honestly giving your business the best version of you right now? with the way you're functioning, the way you're running your business? Are you doing that? And my next question is, are you too busy to be brilliant? Maybe the reason you're not getting where you want in business or the goals you want is because you're so busy, you don't have time to be brilliant. You just average, you're just good because you don't have time for that brilliance, because you have no room for it in your life. You're not allowing space for that to come into your world. So I challenge you, it's time to go slow and grow. I want you to spend 30 minutes a day learning something new from a podcast, a blog post, a training, or investing in yourself. I want you to spend 30 minutes a day doing that as a business owner or as a leader. And I want you to tell me if that really helps you. And my other question for you is, what is the one thing I know I should be doing, but I'm not at present in the following areas of your life and business? So you've got marketing. What are you not doing in your marketing space right now that you could be doing? Relationships, in whether it's in business or personal life. What are you not doing that you should be? Health. I want you to look at your health goals and what you're doing. Are you looking after yourself? Are you exercising? Are you eating well? What are you doing for yourself right now? And in your business, that's the fourth one. So I want you to look at all those three areas and see where you could be doing better that you're not doing right now. And then I want you to do what you can now and wait for the rest. Work out what matters to you and give your best parts of yourself to that in your business and in your life. And then whatever you don't have time for or capacity for, you need to outsource it, delegate, work with your teams, work with your person, like your husband or your family members, grandparents, aunties, uncles, to help you with childcare. Whatever that looks like, you need to get that help in for yourself. Now, the best way to do this is to break it down into bite-sized chunks. And I want you to break it down into each area and work out what it is you need and what's missing in bite-sized chunks. And then I want you to think about, how can I keep my spark going in my life and business? What is it I need to do? Look at your micro habits as little lightning strikes. I recently learned about this, lightning habits, and micro habits and what they can look like. That means 90 seconds is a micro habit. This is enough time to reset your nervous system. It might be 90 seconds just to pause between meetings and take some deep breaths. That's what I did before I started this podcast. It might be 90 seconds to walk around the office while you're on a call, just to keep your body moving. It might be doing some squats or lunges for 90 seconds. It might be, ordering something that you need or booking an appointment with a doctor. Whatever that is that you need in that 90 seconds, that's enough to reset yourself. Start small to conquer fatigue and burnout. Break things down into bite-sized chunks to get started. And I want you to pick 2 things each week that you're going to work on in your personal life and your business. It could be something like, I'm going to drink 2 liters of water a day and I'm going to keep my steps up to 10,000 steps. It might be in your business, okay, I'm going to post on social media every day and I'm going to call 5 new potential customers this week. I just want you to set two things in each area of your life and then add to it each week. And look at the habits that you had or things that you did when you've been most successful in your career and your life, whether it's personal life or business life. And I want you to go, what habits am I missing? Like, what was I doing that I'm not doing now? I recently did this myself because I hadn't, I've been feeling a bit run down and not as healthy. And I was thinking, what habits was I doing that was making me feel really good before that I've stopped because life got busy? And one of the things was having a morning green juice. So I decided that I'd get lots of organic veggies, celery, cucumber, spinach, avocado, banana, and just ginger, adding all that in and putting it in my blender each morning. And I drink it on my way into work before I have my morning coffee. And wow, have I noticed a difference in the last 2.5 weeks. Like, I just feel so much healthier and I'm starting my day with a burst of energy and greens into my diet that I just wasn't getting before. There's no way the amount that I put in those smoothies, there's no way I could get that much into on a plate and eat it all, like, you know what I mean, on top of salads and dinner and lunches and things. So for me, that works. So finding something that makes you feel good. I know another thing for me was that morning exercise before work. That routine's kind of gone out the window a little bit at the moment, so I need to start working on that too. So hopefully this helps give you some ideas around what you could be doing in your business. And I want to remind you that the only way to be selfless is to start being selfish. I'll read that again. Only way to be selfless is to start being selfish. So it's time to look after you and get yourself in the right place with your mindset, with that grit and that resilience, so that you can bring the best version of you in all areas of your life. I'm really big on, I don't want people to have the rest of me. I want people to have the best of me. So how I look after myself and how I show up is going to be critical in that. And I want to encourage you to kind of reflect on what you learned today with me. I hope some of my stories have helped and encouraged you and given you some new ideas around that grit and mindset. And look at what you could implement in your life in the next 24 hours, the next 7 days, and the next month from what we've discussed. I hope that really helps you. And I just want to encourage you all that you have got this, whatever you're facing right now in your business or life, that, you have the power in you to get through this. And I want to encourage you that I'm always a phone call away or a message away if you'd like to reach out to me and connect. And I hope that this has helped some of you today connect with me and learn more about my story. So thank you. Telling me to dance, taking a chance. Telling me to dance, taking a chance. Thank you so much, everyone. I really appreciated our time today. I love sharing with you the stuff I'm learning, and I hope it's helped you. Please love and share to your network now, and love to hear from you if you enjoyed this session.